do not spray your vagina with any type of perfume. Don't even have it near your vagina. You just, you know, do your little 1 2 3 4 go down, but don't, you know, go down legit spray your vagina because it's gonna burn.
On your own, cause don't nobody owe you shit where you could owe a nigga paper, but it'll kill you by this bitch. Swear your dog ain't your dog for real. Hate to see you ball.
Hello, all my beautiful women out there. So today I'm very excited to be doing I'm going to be doing a lot of tips on, you know, feminine products and stuff like that. Stuff that I personally have used and tried out. So let's get straight into the video. And for disclaimers, I do want to inform you, some of these products I personally have not used before. However, I know some of these products are good to use for female. So I do want to go ahead and disclaim, your body is going to have an odor, and you're going to have your own odor, like your own smell. Your vagina, it should not be something uncomfortable to speak about. Not necessarily saying you need to go around saying, hey, like, I have a vagina, vagina. You know, it's just, it shouldn't be something that you should be embarrassed to talk about. You should be completely open about it. And, you know, we're females. We were put on this earth to have something where we experience of having periods and having kids. Like, that should just, it's just normal. It should not be something that should be frowned upon or looked as disgust. If you look at it that way, then you probably are not as mature as of right now, which is completely fine. I feel like we all went through that phase when we were younger where we weren't as mature when it comes to periods. So I remember when I was young as a kid, I used to always feel like when I'm on my period, I stinked. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's just a mindset thing you have. I promise you, you do not stink. And if you feel like you stink, maybe ask your parent. If your parents are not comfortable with it, like, I personally have never had my father in my life. He passed away when I was younger. So I just had my mom who, like, helped me with certain things, and she has other kids, my siblings, who, you know, she can always be there and help me out when it comes to certain things like this. So I actually, you know, would like look on YouTube and look for advice, and, you know, as you grow over, you find out what things help with your body and what things don't. So just want to know, if you're looking to watch this video to smell like, to have your, you know, vagina area smell like fruits and stuff, then you're watching the wrong video. I do apologize. I'm not gonna have you put something on your body that's gonna have an impact on you, and I'll explain later what I'm referring to. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and start showing some of the products that I personally have used, or I've heard about. As far as it goes, like my mom and stuff that she uses. I'm just still not happy, like, okay. So I'm gonna start with the products. We're gonna start with tampons, and then we're gonna go off to like pads and stuff like that. So let me get this for you. This tampon, these are not mine. These are my mom's. I personally did used to use tampons, and if you don't know how to use, like, put in a tampon, comment down below. I would not have an issue with making a video on how to insert a tampon in and like show you and educate you guys, because I was in that stage before too. Not everyone knows how to put a tampon in. Like, you know, you have to learn. So I definitely wouldn't mind making a video on showing you how to use a tampon or put a tampon in. But basically, this is a super, meaning a lot of people who, let me show you. A lot of people who do not like using pads or anything, they'll usually use tampons. And usually you get this super if you bleed a lot. Like, usually when you first start your period, you bleed a lot. So you would use a super so that it doesn't bleed through or go through. So I personally have used tampons, not a super before, because I personally do not bleed a lot. But when you first use a tampon, it's very uncomfortable. I'm gonna show you basically the way a tampon is. I don't want to like take out the package because it's just a waste of a tampon. But actually it shows you, let me show you. On top of this box, that's how the tampon looks. So basically, you know, this little end piece goes into your vagina hole. You put it in and then you insert that. You just, you know, latch it. And if you want to open one up and try to see how it looks before inserting it in, you can. It's going to be like this little cotton piece, but basically, if you really want to know how to put one in, I definitely do not mind making a video about it. Another thing I use are pads. Now, these pads are a longer length, meaning that it's most likely going to go all the way in the front and to the back. Now, I want to inform you, one thing I did grow up, had issue with growing up with with pads, was I really was self-conscious, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, because I used to remember in high school, people would always ask, hey, can you see my pad? I'm going to let you know, it's 100% sure. You cannot see your pad at all. They're not designed for you to be able to see them. If you still have that self-conscious, you know, if someone can see it or not, try going in the mirror or asking one of your friends, you know, to look. I used to ask people that, like ask a friend, you know, hey, can you see my can you see my pad? I don't know why I keep saying tampon. Can you see my pad? You know, they will help out and let me know, hey, yeah, I know. But most of the time it's just a head in your thought because you feel uncomfortable with it being on because it's like a large, long object. Now, there are pads that are made for you that are not like large. So I personally love these so much. I'm getting excited talking about it. So I'm gonna show you the size length of them. You have your long pads and you have your penny liners. So the little package is like so bright. There's your penny liners. These are your penny liners. Penny liners and your pad. You see the huge difference? Like, so with the penny liners, they're called penny liners because if you wear a thong, you usually will put this on your thong. And these are mine, so I don't care to open these up. But this is how like small like they are. Like the comparison, like it could fit on my whole hand. Like not even my whole hand, like half of it. So they're not, you know, huge if you're like scared about the fact of it being huge. Now, with that being said, this is for regular. Like I said, I do not have heavy periods. So with this, I personally have never bled through with these on, but I also don't, you know, just put these on and just go about my day. What you usually would do is you usually have, if you wear tampons, you'll put a tampon on and you'll put your penny liners on to prevent any, you know, dripping or anything if you're on a heavy period. I also wanted to mention with the tampon, you want to change your tampon at least every hour or two. It also depends on how heavy you're bleeding, and it also depends on, you know, if you just feel uncomfortable with that tampon. Because basically with the tampon, there's not gonna be like someone saying, hey, like your tampon, like change it, because for one, they can't see it too. You're your own person, you know how you feel if it feels uncomfortable. Usually if you keep on taking your tampon out and taking it in, like putting a new one in, it could get very dry, and that's usually when it comes towards the end of your period. You don't want to keep inserting in tampons every hour or two, because you're obviously not bleeding as much because you're about to end your period. So what you want to do is probably have the tampon in for like 4 hours. Not even, if that, like, it just depends on how long, you know, how much you bleed with your period when it comes to the end of your period. Me personally, my body likes to trick me. I feel like I will like end my period and then it will come back again. So I have to deal with that. So that's where I'm just like, sometimes I'll wear my tampon in a little bit long. But I wanted to inform you, you don't have to use tampons. Like, tampons are not safe for you at all. I want to inform you, just a disclaimer, I am nowhere near I don't even know, like, I'm not psychologist. I do not you know, I'm going to school to be an OBGYN doctor, so I'll be handling, you know, vaginas, but I am not a doctor as of yet. So my advice is just based off of my personal experience. If you want to know more about your body or make sure what things are good for you or not good for you, I would advise to speak to your gynecologist. Just hear me out on that. So just a disclaimer, I apologize, I'm saying it a little late, but I was like, let me just say this because I don't want me to like say, hey, do this, and then you do it and you're like, hey, something's going on down here, why'd you say to do this if it's not working for me? Because everyone has a different, everyone's body's different, you know. It's hello, like everyone's body's different. So I just wanted to speak about these pads that I use and the tampons. Like I said, if you want to learn how to put one in, just let me know below and I'll show you a video on how to insert a tampon in. Another thing I want to talk about are shavers. Ladies, you do not have to go out and buy an expensive shaver for your vagina to look all nice, or your armpits, or anything like that. I am 19 years old. I have never ever used one of these shavers because I know how cliche and crazy it sounds. And by the way, this is my mom's. Again, I asked to use it, so that's why it's brand new, because she has a other one and I was like, let me use the new one that's in here. This can be, it informs me, it could be used wet or dry. I don't know if you could see that. Here you go. Let's see. It can be used wet or dry. So if you want to use this bad boy while you're in the shower shaving, you can. Would I recommend? Probably not. So basically you put your batteries in this thing and then you know, press your button. It's gonna vibrate. Like I said, I've never used it before. So my mom, she says, like, you know, she can cut in the creases of her vagina, like layers and stuff. She doesn't need to you know, worry about it cutting her. So I personally do not know how to use this, but I know you can use it for your vagina. This, now, I do use this, and I know you're probably thinking, like, can't you get razor burns with this? Like I said, everyone's body's different. I personally do not get razor burns from using a shaver. That's usually used for just your legs or your arms or your underarms. I do not get any razor bumps. What I do is I use my soap and I put this over the soap and I shave with it. Now, like I said, everyone's body's different. I just use a regular cheap soap, like, to shave the upper part of my vagina. I do not necessarily really shave the inner parts of it. I have before. It's just, I feel like, you know, it's a lot to cope with. I also wanted to inform you with tampons or with pads, there are going to be times when your hair does get stuck and you're going to have to rip your hair. So if you want to avoid having to deal with your hair getting caught in the pad, what I could advise is just trim your hair. Now, you don't have to shave your hair to be considered clean. I know me personally, I don't like vagina hair that much. Like, I don't mind like the little, when it starts growing back, but it's just being full on bush hair. I personally do not like for myself. It just doesn't look clean for me. Now, if your parents say you're not of age to be able to shave yet or don't shave, do not shave, because they're telling you for a reason. You either need to learn how to shave, which there's other videos on how to shave, or, you know, you're just not growing enough hair to be able to shave. So you don't want to instantly, you know, go about your parents' rules. But usually if you're at the age of 13 or older, when you start growing hair and you may feel self-conscious or uncomfortable about it, go ask a parent, hey, can you show me how to shave, or is it okay if I shave? If they say no, I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably did not start shaving until I was 16. I got my period when I was pretty young. I was 11 years old when I got my period. So I'm not sure if they're still showing this in school, but when I was in 5th grade, they were showing, you know, us females, they will separate us in the class and they'll show videos of like about periods and stuff and knowing more information. I don't think they do that anymore, which is really sad to say, but that's why, you know, you have your other role models that are, you know, there to tell you those type of videos. So now that we're done speaking about shavers, we're gonna get straight into soap. So This is my body wash. I use this on my actual body. This has real salt in it. It is Soft Soap is the brand, and it's the pink peony. I don't even know if it's peony. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. So it's basically, there's little balls in here, and it smells really good. I love the smell of it. Now this one, let me see if you could see this. It's a white bottle. So there you go, like focus. Okay, so let me see here if I get, all right, so this one I'm showing right now, and I'm going to change my camera back. This one is a knockoff brand because you don't necessarily need the actual like brand of someone who makes a feminine product. But this, you do want to use a small bit, excuse me, you want to use a small bit on your, you know, your loofah, which is what I use. This is my little sponge thing I use. You want to use your little loofah, put your soap on there, and you want to wash in between. You don't want to use too much because this is helping your pH balance, and your body has its own, like, it produces its own pH, you know, it cleans its own self is what I'm trying to say. So with this, it's for sensitive skin. I have very, very, very sensitive skin, so this is good to use for your vagina. Another thing is, with this, it's not scented. You're not trying to look for scented feminine products for your vagina because those things usually have alcohol. If it has alcohol, you definitely don't want to have that in your vagina because it's gonna mess up your pH balance. You're gonna get yeast infections, which is like the worst thing to have. I've experienced a yeast infection before, and I was confused on why I kept getting yeast infections. Is because I was using the wrong soap and the wrong products, and it was throwing off your pH balance. Because it's like, think about it, if you keep washing your hair, it's gonna break your hair because it's dry. Like the water breaks and dries your hair. So like, just think of your vagina as a temple. Like, you do not want to put something in it. Like, would you put hand sanitizer in your vagina? No, because that would burn it. Think of it as that. You don't want to put products that have alcohol in your vagina or on it, if anything. So definitely look into using this. You could get it at Walmart. It's cheap. You don't have to get the expensive brand like Summer's Eve, I believe. I've heard that's not good. I personally never used Summer's Eve before, but I've heard of it. So just stay away from alcohol products. You want to stay away from anything alcohol. You want to mainly have things that say pH balance, that are for your pH balance. If it's for your pH balance, that means it's for your vagina. So those are the things I use for my vagina area, so that it's not, you know, having an odor. If you experience having odors with your vagina, then what I usually would advise to do is get in contact with a gynecologist to get a yearly checkup. If you're sexually active or not, you still want to get checked up just to make sure everything's going on, that's going on in your body is doing good. Usually, I personally never had a gynecologist that was a male. I don't even think they allow that anymore, but some states may or may not. If your gynecologist is a male and you're uncomfortable, then I would advise speaking to your mom or your doctors to see if you could switch to having a female. But I personally went to a gynecologist and I love it because I'm making sure everything in my body's good. I go once a year for my pap smear. So if you are sexually active or not even sexually active, you should definitely go to a gynecologist to make sure everything's okay with you. As well as if you are sexually active, you want to make sure that you are always showering after, you know, having intercourse, because when you're having intercourse, your pH balance is getting messed up because obviously the guy is carrying stuff on his penis as well that you can't see, that your vagina is going to have a reaction to. So if you are sexually active, you want to make sure you are washing your body and being safe as well, and make sure you are using a condom. So I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. Those are my talks for vaginas. I still want to talk a little bit more about, you know, your hygiene as well, and make sure you're smelling good. So here's a couple things I use. So these are the lotions I use. I usually get a lotion that is, you know, scented. This lotion I really just started using. I have very ashy skin, well, dry skin, not ashy. So I use this to moisturize my skin. And then for this one, it's a set. So to smell good, I use this. You do not, I'm going to say this disclaimer, because like I said, I was young and I didn't learn. Do not spray your vagina with any type of perfume. Don't even have it near your vagina. You just, you know, do your little 1, 2, 3, 4, go down, but don't, you know, go down legit spray your vagina, because it's gonna burn and you're just gonna, you know, have issues with your vagina. So to avoid that, don't spray it. Another thing is, and I know it's crazy to say, I've gotten advice before to put deodorant in between where your pants are to avoid odor. If you have to do that and you smell like, you feel like you smell like fish or anything, that's just a myth, by the way. There's no female that actually smells like a fish. And if they do, it's usually something going on that they need to get checked up on. But don't have this mindset that you smell like fish or anything. Even if someone makes a joke while you're on your period, don't, you know, you're always gonna have your haters, but you're gonna grow up out of it. You're learning, so you're human. So do not put any of these in your crotch area, because it's not meant for that. It's meant for your underarms. And I know it's crazy I'm saying this, but there's actual people who really think that you put that there to make it smell better. Your vagina is gonna have its own scent. It's not gonna smell amazing. It's not gonna smell, it shouldn't smell bad. If it smells bad, you should get checked out, because there might be something going on. Another thing I want to disclaim is do not douche. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but if not, you should know what I mean. It's this little, like, it's this little, okay, I don't know how to explain the, like, how it looks, but basically you don't want to douche because it's not cleaning anything out. It's not. It's just putting bacteria back up there, and it's not something you want to do. You definitely will get a yeast infection because of it, and you may get any other type of diseases from it. It's not something you want to use to clean your body out at all. If you feel like you have to go to that extent because your body smells bad, you need to get checked out. I'm telling you 100%. Just get checked out, and they can tell you if they need to prescribe you with something or to see what's going on with your body. Last but not least, I've been trying out this spray kind deodorant. I really like it. And then this is the regular one that you just put on. I only put one, so, you know, just choose either or. But yeah, that's like about it for my video. I feel like I've, you know, went over a lot of feminine products, about things that I use for my vagina. If you have anything else that, you know, you're curious about, make sure you comment down below. I can give my opinions on it if I've used it or not. And I really did enjoy making this video. You know, I feel like I'm like helping people who are uneducated about vaginas and, you know, not being experienced. So I appreciate you guys watching my video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.